You guys seem to enjoy the transporter videos. I enjoy working on them, so here we are. I have got a T5.1 Transporter. She's on a template. Customer or owner experiences noise while driving. I asked him when it makes the noise. He said as you speed up, it gets louder. He did say he's got on his knees and he can see the rubber part of the drive shaft split. The CV boot, he thinks it's that. I said it's definitely not the drive shaft making a noise the faster you get. Sounds like the wheel bearing to me. I'm not sure. I have driven it and she does make a bit of noise. We need to lift the front end up, see what's going on. Let's get into it. If you've seen videos on the build series on my T5, you'll know that my long wheelbase is too big to get up on the ramp. This is a short wheelbase, so I can just about lift this one up on the ramp all the way, but we're only working on the front, so we're going to lift the front up, inspect and spin some wheels and see if my guesstimation of it being the wheel bearings is correct. It has done 220,000 miles. Probably original wheel bearings, probably original suspension. So it is probably due a wheel bearing. I'm going to get some axle stands under the front because you shouldn't really lift the front or the back up. But let me chock it up. First of all, visual inspection. He did mention CV boot gone. Not on the passenger side, near side. I'm not seeing one here, but it may be one of the inners. Okay, yes. Driver's side inner. Now, he was right about that. How do you check for wheel bearing noise? Well, the easiest way, you need to jack it up, spin the wheel. Oh, that sounds terrible. It's sounding brake paddy if you ask me. Let me check the other side. I have got an extra mic, so hopefully you guys can hear the noise a bit better. Oh! Where's the torch? That sounds brake paddy. It sounds so much brake paddy that I can't tell if it is a wheel bearing. Okay, so the pads are about halfway on that side. And they're about halfway on this side. Is it two wheel bearings? Anyway, the way to tell on a wheel bearing is you would spin it, and if it's a wheel bearing, you can actually feel a vibration through the spring. Although it sounds terrible, which I think is brake pad noise, I can't feel any vibration at all through the spring. Oh mate, I'm still not feeling any vibration. Let me whip the wheels off and we're going to have a better look at the brake pads because that sounds terrible. Some of you do ask me what impact guns I use. Now this is the Milwaukee Fuel 18 volt. It is an absolute monster. Only problem with it, it's that much of a beast, it'll snap bolts. If you use it for doing stuff up, it's a little bit aggressive. Now, it's that powerful, it will undo that drive shaft nut, no problem. It's more powerful than your old school air ones. If you want one that does everyday nuts and bolts, that won't snap stuff, this is the Makita LXT. Big shout out to my good friend Maltese Mafia for sending that out to me. They are the two guns I use. Now what is going on? I have looked at the other side and there is brake pad. Oh, there is brake pad this side too. Oh, it sounds terrible. Why does it sound so bad? Okay, definitely not this CV boot. I have seen it the other side. What I might have to do to get a good spin on these is pull the brake pads out, stick the wheel on and spin them up again. I might need to spin them a bit faster. Or we need to do a wheel bearing on the back. That is even if it is a wheel bearing. Yeah, not very nice. Let me show you that CV boot. Now you can clearly see in a CV boot is absolutely hanging and it's made a mess all the way around it. Yeah, not fun. But these drive shafts ain't too bad to get out. Two 13mm bolts on the top of the drive shaft. Slide the drive shaft out, but they hold the oil in, so it doesn't really matter. We haven't got to drain the gearbox oil, which is nice. But we do still need to find the funny noise. So I can get a better spin on the disc, I'm literally going to pull the caliper off. Only by the outer carrier. Two 7mm hex, Milwaukee impact ratchet. Absolute beast. Again, shout out to my man, Maltese Mafia. Really appreciate you, my man. We've then got a little spring clip. These off. And then because the discs are worn, there's a little lip. So I'm just levering the piston in ever so slightly. Otherwise you'll end up trying to beat the disc off. And that is no fun. Might have done it enough. I have already done the other side. And that made no noise at all. I'm just going to slide the caliper in there out the way. Oh, brake pad's a bit stuck, so we'll clean them up before they go back in. Need the wheel. You guys are propped on the wheel. Let me just skew with you out of the way. Oh, we lost all the... it's close enough. Wheel back on, and I've had a horrible thought. If the noise is definitely from the front, and it sounds like a wheel bearing, and we can't hear a wheel bearing, the only other thing it could be is the gearbox. Now I hope it's not that. So, can we spin it? I'm spinning it, there's no excess noise, there's no vibration. I need to check the back. Hopefully it's a rear wheel bearing and not a gearbox. Let me get a couple of bits done and we'll work out what's going on. I hope it's not the gearbox. Got the front wheels back on and I have put the brake pads and the calipers back in. I've got this corner jacked up. We can obviously hear the disc noise. But it's not grumbly. Let me look at the other side. Okay. So we can hear the disc noise. There is a grumble behind that noise. I'm going to whip the wheel off, whip the pads out and just double check. I believe it's this wheel bearing, which is a lot better than a gearbox. Brake pads are out so we can spin it with a bit of force now. So, oh yes. That is definitely noisy. We've found the bearing, we've found the noise. Only problem with the rears, there is a special tool to pull the bearings out with leaving the arms in situ, but I don't have that tool. I'm going to see if I can borrow one, or we have to take the rear arm off, and there is eccentric bolts, cam type bolts that adjust the camber. I have had mine off and I did mark them with a fine punch and they have gone back on straight, but I'm going to see if I can borrow the tool. That is definitely the noise. Okay, so there's not much to strip off, so we need to take the caliper carrier And this, for some reason, is loose already, but that bolt's tight. Strange. No messing with that bad boy. Wonder why that is. Okay, that recess must be too thin. It's had recent discs and pads, which is nice. Caliper came straight off. I've barred these off a little bit. 21 mils holding the bracket. Is the impact ratchet going to do it? It is a beast, this, but those bolts are normally FT. No problem. Oh, someone's wedged the caliper up in the way. Don't know who that was. Surprises me a lot, that impact ratchet. You're out the way. Any of the sliders seized? No. We will grease them up before it goes back together. Oh, I can still hear it. There's nothing that holds these in apart from a silly retainer clip on the front. If you was an absolute savage, you could hammer and chisel down there. But we're not going to do that. I'm going to try and borrow a tool. Hopefully I can, because apparently you just put it in there, wind the bolt up, pulls it out. But they are very tight. We'll try the tool if I can get one. Otherwise I've got to take the whole arm off, which ain't the end of the world. But when it's all rusty and dirty in there, it looks like it's the end of the world. On my van, it's all clean, pretty and painted, and all the nuts and bolts have been off already. I'm going to find out about the tool. Otherwise we're stripping that rear arm down. No fun. I have managed to borrow the tool. It's not my tool, so hopefully I don't break it. I have watched a little video on how to use it because I'm not sure. I've never used it. And the guy who I borrowed it from said to read the instructions. Well, there ain't no instructions, so we're going for it. But I can half see what's going on if I don't put it in backwards. There is a silver and a black collar. I believe the black one is slightly thinner. And I've done a polo wheel bearing. And that had a smaller gap, so I can only imagine it does a couple of vehicles. Okay, so how annoying is that? We've got an Allen key that's the shape of a hex. And it hits the brake dust shield. There is a couple of pulleys. There is a couple of devices in the box, but I believe it's quite self-explanatory. I say that now I've watched the video, because I did open the box and I didn't have a clue. What have we got? What do I remember? I believe it's the smaller pulley first, facing in from the back. We've got 5 pins. They have got to go in there. There is little locators that hold them in, little O-rings. I'm going to put them inwards to hold it. I can see marks on the silver collar we put on as well, so this has to be it. Like so. I am going to looby-dooby up the thread. Whenever you use one of these tools, there's so much force on the thread. It creates a lot of heat and you'll end up knackering the tool. And it's not my tool, and apparently this wasn't the cheap one. I looked on eBay and you can get really cheap ones. Well, apparently this ain't the cheap one. So I don't want to break it. Now these bearings can be FT, and it ain't foot-pounds, that's F in tight. The inner nut, I believe, is a 20 something mil, don't know, can't remember. I've got an 11/16 swan neck that fits it tight. It's a big spanner. We are going in with 21mm on the outside. That spanner is going to land on the jack and not damage anything. Now the first bit is always the worst. I'm not going to use an impact gun because that will probably knacker the threads. You should hear it pop. We're going to find out. I have heard of people snapping these tools. Not telling anyone how to suck eggs, but when I do strong bolts or tough bolts, I don't push down on it, I pull on it. You can get a lot better force. There it goes. Something happened. Oh, that is tight. That is seriously tight. As I say, I have seen people break these tools. This ain't my tool. A lot of wheel bearings have C-clips that hold these in. These don't. Have I definitely got that the right way round? My little breaker bar ain't the best either. I know it's snap-on, but I've actually snapped 3 of them. Snap-on man weren't happy because he replaced them. And it is a skinny socket. An impact socket would be nice. Oh my God. As I thought, snap the tool, clean in half. Not my tool, just had to buy a tool to replace it. So now I've bought a tool and I still haven't got a tool. What a load of crap. I lubed the thread up, I've double checked it twice. There is actually 2 notches in these little silver things. I made sure they were sat in the correct position. Snap the tool. What a load of crap. I'm going to take the arm off and do it the long way. What a pain in the arse. I've had time to regather my thoughts, and if you plan, why does that phone always go off? Regather your thoughts, he says. If you do plan to use the tool, I would heat this up with a blowtorch for a good 10 minutes first, so that expands. I have heard many people breaking the tool. I broke the tool, but I'd done it stone cold. Maybe, probably, if I'd have heated this whole area up with a blowtorch first, hopefully you don't melt the ABS sensor, that probably would have come out. Too late. So now I'm taking the whole arm off, and that involves caliper off, the brake pipe off, clamp up the rubber hose in there so you don't lose all your fluid, undo the bottom shock bolt to get the spring out. There's 2 21mm holding this arm on. This outer one is fine, you can undo that. The inner one, you need to mark it because it's a cam type bolt which moves the camber and the toe adjustment. So I mark it with a fine centre punch. That way you can get it back in. Yeah, not fun, but I definitely know the press will get this out. I might even heat it up a little bit before I put it in the press. These 21s, you need to get 2 big spanners because they are quite tight. These have never been off. And while they're off, give them a wire wheel and a greasing up. That way, if you ever have to take them off again, it'd be a lot easier. If you have a rear wheel bearing gone and you're about to embark on this challenge, be prepared because it is quite full on. Caliper off, bolts lined and marked up, shock absorber off, brake pipe off. Of course, the end of the brake pipe snapped off. So I've got to make him a new brake pipe. Anti-roll bar. make sure you undo the other side anti-roll bar bolts, the 13s underneath, so then they can hang downwards. Now these are heavy, very heavy. Oof, duh. Oh, I'm gonna have to get under. And the plastic under trays are obviously in your way to get the bolts out. So then you've got to be monkey. Probably going to do all this, and his bushes are gone as well. Although it didn't say him on the last MOT, so if they have gone, I'm sure they're fine. That washes this side. Oh mate, everyone wants to be a mechanic until you need to do mechanic things. Oh, see my axle stands working there. Oh my god. Yeah, full on. Now we're going to take this down and press it out. I am dirty. I am not happy. It has literally taken me about half hour to get this propped up. And I mean propped up. I am going to readjust. There's so many different variable angles. As I was saying, there's a lot of angles going on. I'm glad I've only got to do one. I'm going to stand back. Straight out. Multitasking. Absolute no match for the British model 37 tonne VL Churchill and Co Limited. Walnut Tree Walk, Kennington, London. Well, let me get the bearing and we'll prop it up going back in. Whoa, we're going back together. Nearly fell over. We've got all sorts going on. Bearing going on straight. Looks a bit crooked. No one likes a wonky bearing. If ever you've tried to take a brake pipe off a Volkswagen, they have a plastic sheathing around the outside. It binds up. Happens all the time on caddies, which is annoying, but I do have a proper little tool. It's my friend James. He left it here many years ago. James, your tool's still here. Male. Yes, I haven't put the fitting on yet, I know. Okay, one on the outside. I have straightened my pipe. I like my brake pipes to look pretty sweet. It is a softer material, so you can give it a little tweak after. It is a nice short one as well. How much? About that much. About there. Not forgetting to put the end on this time. One brake pipe. I'll do the last bend when it goes on the car because it twisted off. I'm not sure which way it went. Happy new brake pipe. Get it on. Let's get the caliper bled. We've still got the drive shaft. What an absolute ordeal this has been. We got there in the end. And not only that, my phone's been pinging, going mad. Random phone calls from random numbers, emails and stuff like that literally interrupting me every 5 minutes, and that brings us to the sponsor of today's video, Incogni. There is actually companies out there that gather your personal information, email addresses, phone numbers, home addresses, even more personal stuff. They then sell it to a data broker. The data broker then uses that to get in touch with you, trying to sell you stuff, literally ruining your day. Not good. And that is where Incogni steps in. They reach out to all the brokers that have got your information, request that they take it down, and not only do they do it once, they keep on doing it, so you can be sure that once your information is back and safe, they're not going to use it again. And to get started, simply go to Incogni/DTETV to save up to 60% on your annual subscription, and you will get 30 days money back guarantee if you're not happy. I will put all information in the video comments and again in the video description. Big shout out to Incogni for supporting the channel, sponsoring today's video. It really helps me with upcoming builds and making videos for you guys, so go check them out. We need to get this drive shaft out. We're on the final hurdle. We are back at the drive shaft. It's the following day. I got the shaft out. We took the 2 bolts that hold the ball joint in, 2 13mm that hold the drive shaft bearing in, slid it out. I have given it a bit of a clean because it was minging. Straight in with a grinder. We're going to cut the clips off. Nice and easy. Safety squint mode activated. What's that made of? Titanium? 1. 2. Microphone is low on battery. Hopefully it's working. It's on. We're charging on the Topdon JS 3000 jump pack. Absolute brilliant jump pack. Not a sales pitch. We've already done one of them. Blade. Hopefully I can get this inner joint apart without having to disassemble this end. Sometimes you need to take one end off to take the other end off. Hopefully not, because that will make the day that bit longer. It's actually last Wednesday of the month, and you already know what day that is. And my caddy is tucked behind this T5, so I have to get this together so I can get my van out for the caddy meet. I'll be getting a forklift and moving it if I have to. And I haven't even started that video yet. So today is a busy day. Cut the boot off. Okay. I know these ones. When doing CV boots, make sure you got plenty of cloths to hand. Now hopefully this slides off. Hopefully the 6 ball bearings don't fall out. Oh, they fell out. Okay, well it's off. I can live with that. I do need to clean all the old grease out. Where's the C-clip? There's the C-clip. Oh, look at this. I've got gloves on for the occasion. C-clip pliers, openers. I actually need to get some more C-clip pliers. The cheap ones I bought have lasted a while, but they are starting to break. Okay, I was clipping the wrong piece. C-clip. Oh, come on. It's cold today as well. Oh, I had him. Come on, cousin Keith. This ain't happening. I can hear a PD. Who is it? It's a caddy. Well, yeah. My man Skiro with the spares and repairs, 800 quid caddy. I'm pretty sure you've all seen the video because that one's done really well. Off. How's it going, Skiro? Alright. I am doing this CV boot. So that's off, that's off. I want to clean all this out, get the fresh clips. Let's get this back together and get the caddy out. Cleaned it all, found all the ball bearings, they fell on the floor. We saved them. Cleaned it as much as it needs to be cleaned. Got the CV boot out the box. Doesn't fit. Typical. Lucky I have a collection of stuff. That bad boy will stretch on there. That will stretch on there. They are about the same height. Yes, that'll do. We need to rebuild it. I need some clips. And what ends up happening is I need a CV boot clip. So I'll take them out of the box. I then can't send that one back. So I'm always a clip set behind. So I'm going to put the clip on first, slide you on, get the boot on, bit of lube on there. And it's going to plan, I believe, apart from the boot being wrong, but we can make that happen. I'm going to slide the boot right up. Now this bit, let's have a bit more length, as the bishop said to the actress. Ease on. Right, now how are we rebuilding this? Is he going to slide on? Sure he will with a bit of persuasion. Yes, he's on. Clipped in. Now, more random emails. Hence the advert. This bit gets a bit hard. Oh, that was a ball bearing as well. They do like a rollabout. This might take me a few tries, so I might have to fast forward. I don't know. You need to pull it forward without dropping. Ah, for bloody hell, I give up. I've done it. Persistence pays off. Bit of grease in there, held it, skew whiff angle, all the good stuff. We need to get some grease in there. Probably would have been better up the other way. It's going to be better. Oh, do I do it and then it all fall apart? Not trying it. Not risking it for a biscuit. That got a bit fiddly. Fresh bit of grease in there. I did try clipping the end off and assembling it a couple of different ways, but we've done it. You have to sort of lift it up with the bearings, go at a funny angle, and then eventually it happens. A little bit of grease in the boot. Happy days. I do like my CV joint to be dry. No one likes a dry joint, but this time we do. Oh, don't come off. Oh, it nearly has. Oh, we saved it. It does move. Right, boot up. It is on. Make sure the boot is straight on the joint. Pull it out. There we go. It's notchy when it's in. It doesn't sit like that. It pulls out. Lovely. Right, 2 clips. I'll show you 1 clip. We're going to get it back together. One clip, and I am quite picky with my clips, so the notch is here, my bottom one will be in line, parallel. Did they do that from the factory? Nope. Where is my tool? This is one of the best tools. Check that out. Can we see? eBay, I don't know how much they are, 10, 15 quid. This does them up tight. It does them up that tight that if you go too tight you can snap the clip and then you're back to square one. So let's not do that. When the ratchet happens, lovely jubbly. 1 clip on, doesn't move. Slide the other one up. It does nearly slide out. All fingers and thumbs here. But we'll make it happen. Clips in line. Needs to be a bit tighter. Clips lined up. I will show you this one. It is only the same as the first one. Oh. Done. Freshly greased joint, fresh boot on there, 2 fresh clips. Let's get it in the motor. You guys are in zoom out mode. Mic's still on charge, but it's right next to me. The top don jump pack coming into play. Now hopefully I can slide this back in, because the under tray's actually got an under tray. Oh, I need that for my van. Just kidding. The under tray's still on. I'd rather not take it off if I don't have to. I'm on the splines. Oh man. I'm in. 2 13mm bolts. I don't want to get too oily. Yes. Yes, yes. I need to move you guys. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Drive shaft back in. Oh, don't rub me up, that grease. Not on my hoodie. Bit of squirt on the drive shaft splines. If you're a mechanic, you would have definitely come up against drive shaft splines being stuck in the hub. And that is never good. So always put a little bit of something on there to help it at a later date. That is slid in there. 2 bolts in the bottom. Done. Let's get it down, outside, bar the wheels up, take it for a test drive. That should be good. Nice. Well, we got the T5 back together, managed to get the caddy out the booth, all ready for the blue water meet last night, and it was good, absolutely packed. Video will be up in a few days, maybe a week. It was good, it's always good. Anyway, T5, driving it, I need to get to a slightly higher speed. So we're not doing the usual loop where we do near the workshop. We need to go 50, 60, 5 minutes up the road, we're almost there. I drive my T5 every day, so 1.9 PD, I've got nothing bad to say about it. But the 2 litre engine in the slightly later ones, the 5.1s, the 6s, it's a lot quieter and the power delivery is a lot nicer. You change gear on mine, put your foot down, it's like, oh really, do I have to? This one gets up and goes straight away. Very nice. This is a very rough bit of road. You might hear by the audio, I don't know. Voice is a bit croaky from talking so much at the blue water meet, so if you come and said hello, big shout out to you. I'm feeling it today. Well, obviously a drive shaft doesn't make a noise unless they're really gone. Those clinking is annoying me. We're at the road. Drive shafts don't make a noise unless you pull out of a junction and you're turned one way or the other. You'll hear it going click, click, click. But the CV boot is all fixed. He said the noise got louder as you got faster. Wheel bearing, typical sounds. We're doing 40, 5, 50. Nothing's got louder. That's got to be a fix. That rear wheel bearing was noisy, really noisy in fact. When I drove it, I could hear the noise, but it was hard to determine where it was coming from. He has got like a fold out bed in the back, so that dampens the noise. But it drives good. One beef I have with transporters, there's nowhere to put a GoPro, so I had to get creative. In my T5 I've got something screwed into the centre console. Can't do that in a customer's motor, so we had to get creative. Yeah, nice. Drives very well this, 220 odd thousand miles. It drives really good. I'd definitely call that a fix. Ticked off the list. I don't mind a test drive. T4, oh yeah, it's the Caravelle with a better looking front end. Test drive. It's absolutely freezing today. It's like 2 degrees. Bit chilly at the caddy meet last night. We're back on the noisy road again. But yeah, happy fix I believe. I am moving straight on. Caddy, oh yeah, like, subscribe. He's wondering who that was. I'm in the transporter, I wave at caddies, I wave at transporters. I'm in the T5, or the other way round, I wave at all of them. They're like, why is he waving at me? DTE TV, isn't it? But it's not my van, so it's a random stranger. Anyway, I've got a parking spot to put my caddy, my red one, the red one, yeah, in a friend's workshop where it's going to be nice and safe. I haven't told the caddy yet. Oh, I'm waving at people, I'm not in my motor. I haven't told the lady yet that she's going to have to live in someone else's cold workshop. But when the caddy's out the way, I can get the silver one in and I can get started on these build series. I have got 3 massive jobs, loads of videos. Also got one of the nicest candy flip paints I've ever done. I've never painted it before. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I can do it. I better be able to do it. I better get good with the roller to get a good finish on the lacquer. But that's all to come. We're done with this one. I'm not sure what video's next. I've already got a few backed up, so I'm ahead a little bit again, which is all good. But from me, the T5, the hanging CV boot, the howling wheel bearing, we're all done. I'll see you guys in the next video. Pothole. I'm out. Oh yeah, another caddy. Oh boy.